This is technically episode 17, you guys. Tonight we got me, Austin Ledger, and Jay.
Yeah.
Good old Jay in the house.
Yes,
So I'm gonna kind of watch what I say because YouTube gave us that strike. Which I don't really care if they're gonna take us down, they're gonna take us down. Not a big deal to me at all, especially because we got Rumble and everywhere else we're on. So don't really need YouTube a whole lot. So you guys, Peter Nygard, you guys, that guy. So when is his trial? Or sometime soon. So his hearing is continuing. He's a Canadian fashion designer. He is like the Canadian version of Jeffrey Epstein. This guy literally looks like Jay. We were talking about this the other day, and because I said looks like a vampire, bro, and he definitely looks like a vampire for sure. And yeah, he's getting busted with all sorts of stuff, like Epstein. And then like the big thing about this guy is he's the fashion mogul or whatever, and he's always around like young hot women and doing stuff with him, and it's like on file that he would impregnate them and then end the baby, like pretty sure after it was born. I'm just gonna go with that. And then use stem cells of it to try to keep himself young. Well, the thing about that is stem cells, the research has been done on it. That's not how stem cells work. So I was thinking it was totally the adrenochrome factor, and he likes himself some baby milkshakes. But there's a picture of it I just threw into the chat. And then the whole vampire thing was pretty wild when it came down to it. But yeah,
Dang.
so go ahead.
Oh yeah, I can't see it in the chat. But...
Oh, you can't see it?
No, but that's wild, man.
He's weird. Yeah, he's really weird. He's creepy guy. He dresses like a vampire, like a cartoon character. I had some stuff pulled up the other day about vampires and where that was all coming from and the bloodlines and stuff, but that got erased. But then I took a little gander over into the witchcraft stuff and learned that the word witch or bewitched, both of them, they actually don't mean to like define someone as with like magic or anything. It's more to like manipulate someone's life. And it can be used with like dark magic and stuff, but what it means is it's a description of what they do to people is what witch is. The word witch means it's in its original format. It's not like a description of what you think a witch is. It's what they actually do to people. So it's like it comes in all different shapes, sizes, colors, backgrounds, what they do, but it has to do a lot with blood magic, and a lot of those witches were cannibals, and it was using blood magic to do stuff and making things, deals with like demons and stuff like that. And this guy seems to be anything. I'd like to say that he like in these new days that the witches never disappeared because they've been like killing them forever, witch trials and stuff, and pretty much it could just be that they ended up taking control, and that's why it's like, oh no, witches are fantasy. That's like it's been here forever. Witches have. And then the whole vampire idea was that the vampires are actually, like when you go back to Ed and Lorraine Warren, it's that vampires are real, but they like live on a different plane, but they go back to their actual bodies in cemeteries at night after sucking like soul or energy type frequencies from people. So it all kind of was weird wrapping into it and seeing that like even the word witch has been changed over like hundreds of years to get less and less specific. So it's not necessarily about magic, even though like that's what it is too. It's about them, like, I don't want to say molest, but that's what it is, like manipulating, pushing people to do stuff, to change stuff, have bad things happen and things like that. So that kind of reminded me of this guy when I started digging into that. Also, there is a documentary coming out allegedly in next year, right? Called Adrenochrome Witches or something like that. And the lady who's making it is, I can't remember her name. I lost that too. Not very prepared.
Here's Lynn Maxwell.
No, it wasn't Maxwell. It's
And how much fun?
what is her name? Oh, it's the girl who works for Chrissy Teigen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Chrissy Teigen is that one that was I'm putting out all those weird like soul cooking tweets and stuff like that, and was pretty much, I'm pretty sure she ate her baby. I'm just gonna say it. I'm pretty sure she had like a late term miscarriage in quotes, like last year or whatever, and then she posted this thing on it on, I can't remember if it was Twitter or Instagram, and it was like sitting there with a piece of pizza in front of her and some weird maniacal quote that she wrote about like, I just can't eat missing or thinking about you, something like that. It was weird because like on one side it looks like what she wants it to look like, but on the other side it's like it really looks like she's hinting at that she's like hungry to eat a baby. It was fucking weird, you guys. So got that covered. But yeah, it's the Adrenochrome Witches, and it's called a documentary, and it's coming out next year, 2023. Really weird on that one. And then yeah, you got Peter Nygard, you got all these people falling off that are running with Jeffrey Epstein. These guys, even this guy and Jeffrey Epstein, are technically like are still on the bottom of the food chain of the people running this show. So I had, and I came across yesterday. They're called, and you can YouTube this. They're all over. They're called pandemic babies. And they're not just babies that were born during the pandemic, even though they were. The thing is, and I'm going to censor this word just for it, is both parents are fully shotted up, if you know what I mean. And then they have a baby. Well, these babies are being born with like black eyes. They look like alien kind of. In like just a couple hours, they're holding their heads up, like full neck holding movement and stuff. They're able to hold their bottle like after a couple days. Some of them are crawling at 3 months, which is insane. 3 to 5 months, and then 5 to 7 months, some of these kids are actually walking and talking, saying like their first words at like 4 months or whatever.
That's
like,
scary.
Yeah, like mama, dada. There's videos of them, and like these people are so proud of it. They're like, they're just built different. They're this, that, and the other, just way better than regular babies. And it's like, there's some gene editing going on here.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm looking at pictures right now.
Yeah. Pictures, and then the babies of like what they're doing is creepy, and how alert they are. It's like it'd be like putting a grown ass person's consciousness into a little baby. It's like how these kids are acting. Very creepy. And it was weird because they're like being born with these dark eyes that look black. And it just reminded me of the Black Eyed Kids. I was like, what? How long has this been going on? And how like it just so much with that too, because the Black Eyed Kids seem like they're young, their bodies, but that they seem like malevolent, or that's the wrong word, but like they're smarter than they are. Like they're maniacal and manipulative, and they know what they're doing. They're not actually kids. They're just in the bodies of kids. That's reminded me like to the T of what's happening. And these people are like, it's awesome. No questions asked. They're just like, they're just better, And it's sad too, because some of them, they're like thinking it's cute, bringing them to the grocery store for the first time. And these kids are like 6 months old and have never left their house. And so they're like looking around all overstimulated, weird, and like that's messed up. That's child abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not normal. But how they act with their like motor skills, very creepy to me, actually. It's weird. Like some animals come right out and like walk in just a couple days. Humans are not one of those. We don't lift our heads up and be able to hold bottles and make first words at 3 months and stuff like we don't, So something's going on with that.
Yeah, that's really crazy. And I can already see all the people trying to play it off, like, yeah, it's because the vaccines making our kids smart. I can already see that.
Well, when in history did a vaccine do that? Like, that's my
Exactly.
question.
Yeah.
That's typically the opposite.
Yep.
When it comes to side effects. I mean, don't want to go down the whole trail of that, but autism and other problems people used to not have, or at least as much, or they didn't have diagnosis for it, it's everywhere now. To the point some people were saying that that's an evolutionary trait that we're going through to get to some sort of higher development, like, which those people do, like they experience everything differently. Like that one famous lady who very autistic, and she ended up developing all the like slaughterhouses for the cows because she like could feel and understand them and like almost talk to them, because like she pretty much was reacted the same way that cows did. So like if this was a stressor, the cows can only like moo so much or be in so much distress for the whole place is like shut down, or so she went through and created the whole process of those slaughterhouses, like from beginning to end. And like by the end of it, did the best job at like keeping the cows as like comfortable and all that stuff, because she thought the same way. Which I don't know if that's a better way to be or a worse, you know what I mean? Because it seems like thinking like cows would be the opposite. But yeah, pretty wild. What I've seen mostly is that their excuse is, oh, imagine that. This is what happens when parents get to sit at home with their baby. No. Right. So that's not true at all. I mean, you could look at, poor people, just having a regular babysitter. You could look at richer people having like 3 nannies or a teacher, yeah, like professionals teaching these kids. The average parent is not a professional teaching kid, especially if it's their first child. I mean, even if it's your 10th child, you're still not. I mean, you're good, but to train and go through schooling and stuff for that and deal with hundreds of kids of all different types and, being able to deal with them is quite different. But you don't see any of those kids holding their neck up in the first couple hours of birth, which has nothing to do with parenting, or holding their bottle at 3 days, which has nothing to do with parenting, and having the physical ability to crawl at 3 months, absolutely nothing to do with parenting.
Yeah.
Things like that. And what else I got for you guys? So you guys have ever heard of the Headless Valley?
Nope. I haven't.
It's pretty cool. Have you ever heard of the Headless Valley, Ledger? This is like very interesting because I'm caught up on it. Well, I'll let you guys make your decision on what you think's going on here, but it's very interesting. So like Canada has a lot of places where even people haven't been. Even the US technically has places where, in the mountains and stuff that people never actually been. Canada quite more than other places though, when you're talking about North America. But so this is called the Headless Valley, and it's in the northwestern territories of Canada. There is truly one of the Earth's last true wild places of large. One of its special national park reserves, called the Nahanni Valley, is, however, a little bit wilder than most. It is home to some strange myths and mysteries and boasts a fearsome reputation for being a haunted and deadly place. This remote wild valley is not just inhospitable due to its rugged terrain, extreme weather, and predators, but is also deadly due to some unexplained circumstances. And over the decades, many unfortunate travelers and explorers have gone missing, or they turned up dead and beheaded. The number of decapitated bodies found within Nahanni, not sure which one, Valley, have earned it the nickname Valley of Headless Men, which is the explanation to this mystery. Or what is the explanation to this mystery? So there's some background on it, and allegedly there was a cannibalistic warrior tribe that like mysteriously vanished. So the natives there actually talk about it, and it's almost like a folklore story. But the Dene tell that the Naha, which is the tribe, were a warlike tribe, living in the high mountains and descending into the lowlands to raid and kill. They became the main foes of the Dene people and were greatly feared by them. The name Nahanni itself is of Dene origin and means the river of the land of the Naha people. So people say folklore, but the name of the entire place is actually based on the people that they're saying is folklore. So this mystery would likely have died out quickly, being dubbed just another legendary story of an indigenous tribe. But several eerie deaths and disappearances within the Nahanni Valley achieved the opposite result. The mysteries surrounding this place were only fueled further. Nahanni became the focus of many mystery hunters, and most of this focus was on a special place within the valley, one called the 200-mile Gorge. The Dene natives speak of an unknown evil dwelling there, and few ever enter it, especially because of the events that transpired there. So here, I'm going to change this one up a little bit, guys. Sorry, my mouse stopped working, so I'm using the finger thing.
Fingering your laptop.
Yeah. Surname where? Yeah, I'm fingering my laptop. All right, okay. It does work. Can you see the chat ledger?
Yeah, I seen you sent something in it.
Okay, can you see the text?
Yes.
All right, and then I sent a second one because that one was too big. So I want you to read this, and then read the last part because I finish out the sentence underneath the message under that.
Okay. So the origins of the Erie nickname can be traced to the early 20th century at the time of the famous colonic
Klondike.
gold rush. Klondike gold rush. At this time, many would-be prospectors wanting to test their fortunes and head out to remote Canadian wilderness, especially Yukon. It was known as contain gold in its rivers and soils, as the treasure could be quickly made by those lucky enough to quote unquote strike gold. Two of these prospectors decided to forego the traditional routes and locations leading to Yukon, and instead try their luck in Nahanni Valley. They were two brothers of the Métis ancestry, Willie and Frank McLeod. In 1906, they canoed up river, which reached the Nahanni Valley, and that was the last time anyone saw them alive. In 1908, 2 years later, a search party discovered their skeletons and remains of a camp. Both were headless. Seemingly, they were asleep when they were attacked. The body of one of their brothers lay reached out towards a gun, indicating that their need for defense. A third man, their companion, surnamed Ware, was missing.
Perfect. So that's the first story. At the time, yeah, they found allegedly these, people keep. So in this, you'll see something where they go to look for gold. They say they find gold, typically, if they get the word out beforehand, and then all of a sudden, no word from them. Then they come back. People go looking for them. They find them headless. So this is the first time. This is the very first part where that started to lead it to what would be called the Headless Valley. So after that, rumors began spreading. Many wild theories were put forward. Some spoke of feuding prospectors killing one another. Others attributed the deaths to wild animals. While some spoke of inhospitable, warlike natives leaving the headless corpses as a warning to other trespassers. Theories floated about until another corpse was discovered in 1917. It was that of a Swiss prospector named Martin Jorgensen. His body was discovered, decapitated, next to remains of his cabin. It was burned to the ground. It is supposed that he struck gold in the vicinity as he rode of it back home before ending up beheaded. All right, Jay, you ready?
In 1927, another body was discovered in Nahanni.
It's Nahanni or Nahanni.
Nahanni?
Nahanni. It's weird.
Nahanni,
Yeah, there's a lot of difficult words in there.
belonging to a man named Yukon Fisher, variously dubbed an outlaw and a prospector. This man was sought by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for several years before his death. Officials found his skeleton on the banks of Bennett Creek, quite close to a place where the bodies of
I think it's McLeod.
Yeah,
This is an old English spelling of it.
Okay, McLeod brothers found in 1908. His death was never fully explained, nor was the fact that he was known to possess a solid number of gold nuggets, with which he purchased goods on the frontier.
Pretty
So-
wild.
So what that reminds me of is like they say like if you go someplace and take something of like the ground
Mhm.
or something like that, you have bad luck.
Like
It kind of
cursed.
seems like that.
Cursed, yeah.
Like it's cursed.
There's places in the U.S. like that where
Okay.
people they'll take rocks or
Like
stuff.
Indian burial grounds.
Yeah,
kinda.
or
Yeah.
actually,
Hawaii.
Hawaii
Or-
too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of like the rocks, like the volcano rocks.
Yep,
or
the lava
something.
rocks.
Yeah, lava rocks.
There's
If
those.
you-
I think there's an old mining town that people will go to, in like Nevada, and yeah, they'll take rocks or little pebbles, and the place where they're at, they have like thousands and thousands of letters that people have sent in me like, please put this back. Ever since I took this, like my whole life went to shit. So there is something to that. And yeah, these guys are looking for gold. And here in a minute, I want you guys to remember though that the natives that live there now say that they believe that there's an evil spirit, dark spirit in these woods. And
Squatch.
they say in the wind too. They say specifically there's an evil spirit in the wind is what it goes. So this gets creepier and creepier, guys. So bodies are just popping up, people beheaded. They're like, oh, could be other miners, just killing, it could be. This is back in the day, but it gets weirder and weirder, guys. So then in 1931, another body was found. This time it was that of Phil Powers. His charred remains were discovered in the ashes of what was his cabin. The RCMP were quick to attribute his death to a faulty stovepipe, but their explanation was repeatedly debunked by various sources. Phil Powers, for what it's worth, was likely murdered in his cabin set ablaze. Many others simply disappeared without a trace of the remote wilderness of the Nahanni Valley. And then in 1921, one prospector named Angus Hall ventured ahead of his party and was never seen again. Another pair of prospectors, Joe Mulholland and Bill Epier, disappeared in 1936. For many years, they were searched for but never found. The only thing discovered was their cabin, burned to the ground. See? Same stuff happening. Same kind of, if this was a murder documentary, you'd be like, you got a serial killer out there, right?
Yeah.
But one that's taking multiple bodies over and over and over. So then there was a woman named Annie Laferte, also went missing in Nahanni. In 1926, with her hunting party, she was present in the valley near the Flat River, but then got lost in the wilderness and disappeared. Many months later, an Indian by the name of Big Charlie claimed to have seen the woman climbing a hill while totally naked, seemingly to have lost her mind. And a deep dive on this is that she looked crazed. She was like howling and screaming, butt ass naked, climbing up a mountain on all fours. Pretty creepy.
Yeah, that's insane.
It just gets weirder and weirder. All right. So here's one. This is what I want you to listen to about it when it is about the dark spirit or whatever in the wind. So in 1945, a miner from Ontario says, whose name is now lost, was found dead, still in his sleeping bag. His head, however, was never found. Around that time, another trapper succumbed to the inhospitable wilderness. He was John O'Brien and was found frozen next to his campfire, his rigid hands still clutching a match. His death was clearly due to freezing. Here's the thing, though. The searchers or the police who found him said there was something very wrong with it. Because it wasn't that he was sitting there and froze to death. It looked like he was flash frozen in 1 or 2 or 3 seconds. So he's sitting in front of a campfire. And this guy literally, they said like it didn't look like his face, nothing he was doing looked like he was freezing. It was like he was just sitting there in front of that fire and all of a sudden it went whoosh and he froze. Wow. So in the end, no one can accurately say what is transpiring within the mysterious Nahanni Valley. Up to 44 persons have either died or disappeared within it, starting from just 1908. And that is an eerily high number for just one, albeit enormous, valley. Plenty of odd facts contribute to the prevalent sense of enigma here. The indigenous Dene locals have avoided the valley for centuries, claiming that it is haunted by evil. Here's some conspiracy stuff. Others state that the Nahanni Valley is the entrance to the so-called Hollow Earth. True, the valley is dotted with subterranean caverns, some 250 of them, and many still remain unexplored. Interesting thing, too, about the Nahanni Valley is allegedly there's multiple sightings of mastodons. It's called the Lost Valley. Yeah, it's called the Lost Valley, where mastodons still roam free. A dinosaur.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mastodon. Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
A mastodon. Pretty interesting, guys. Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories to go over. After I discovered it, I'm like, wow, all these people coming up Headless Valley, you know. And then it's got, it could be underground caverns into the center of the earth. And then there's dinosaurs.
Journey to the center of the earth.
That's what it reminds me of, yeah. Except with a lot more murder,
yeah, and gruesomeness. You want to go?
Dying. No, I do not want to go. It sounds cold. Honestly.
It does sound pretty cold, Nickelma.
It's weird that the natives say that they believe there's an evil spirit, like an evil wind spirit, like that comes in with the wind. And that guy was like flash frozen in front of his campfire. Like the first guys that were found headless. And then one of their party was he was gone. There's 3 of them. Very first story. One of them was clutching his rifle. Like he was getting ready to shoot. Like whatever happened that quick. And his head's gone. The other guy was like in his tent or cabin or whatever, and his head was gone.
Yeah.
It's like whatever's happened to these people happened very quickly. And then you got the crazy white lady running around naked, screaming, running on all 4s up a mountain.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy because it kind of goes into the missing 411. Where people, like recently, I think it was beginning of last year, that movie guy, not a director, he was like a camera guy. They were filming a movie out in the woods, and all of a sudden he just like got all weird and like ran off into the woods like an animal. And he's never been seen since. He's part of the missing 411. They said when they saw him running, it was like he was running from something, but they couldn't see anything. Like something was chasing him in the air or some shit. He's just like working, and all of a sudden just takes off into the woods, and no one ever sees him again.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, so who knows what's going on. Then if you really dive into like natives from all over the world, they talk about evil spirits in forests and stuff. So whatever this is, it's very strong. And so like in nowadays, there hasn't been a bunch of people disappearing or dying or anything because nobody goes there anymore. Not many. But I'll tell you what, probably all of them are not going there for gold. And that could be the difference. But
yeah,
for real.
Hey, You guys want to know? You guys know who died today?
Who died today?
Bob Saget from
What?
Boy,
Full
really?
House. Yeah, he died today.
Are you serious?
Wasn't that old, right?
No, he couldn't have been that.
He was born in 1956.
Oh, he's 65.
Yeah, he's not that old.
No, that's not that old. That's crazy. How'd he die? Don't tell me a heart attack. I'm not gonna tell you why I think he died.
I don't know. I think it's too early. It just says his death was confirmed by Orange County Sheriff's Office, which said that Mr. Saget was found unresponsive in a hotel room at the Ritz's Carlton Orlando Grande Lakes. I don't know.
It says found no signs of foul play or drug use.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
He could have got hit with the suicide dart.
Could have been. Well, I bet it comes out of heart attack, which rolls into either suicide or, the magical fairy poison that these people are getting.
Magical fairy poison.
Yeah. Making babies born with black eyes and superpowers. In other news, it appears that the governments are starting to back down on their bullshit. United States government, at least, giving it to the states. Yeah, Washington's got a fight ahead of them. I don't think it'll pass what they're trying to pass. They're trying to pass that they can use law enforcement to, if they request you to be tested or counseled or shot up, and all that good stuff. And and you don't, then they can use the police to take you to a concentration camp.
No. It's a summer camp.
Summer camp. But you can't leave after you go.
It's so great that you don't want to leave.
The Australian shit is crazy. Looking at what they eat and all that stuff, gnarly.
Yeah.
You know what I would do? If they take it, they're not going to take me. This going to be, But if they did, I would shit on their kitchen floor every day, just so they know. I would throw it at them like a wild animal. I would throw poop at people. They would have a bad time with me. They'd be like, "Well, this guy's going to the chamber." I'm like, we don't have one of those. Well, we're gonna make one just for Austin. They'd have to
it's gonna be your special one. It just it has your name on it.
Yeah.
It just says Austin's Chamber.
Yeah. Oh God. Turn into a movie for sure. Oh yes. Crazy. So a lot of clone stuff is coming out, you guys.
Oh yeah.
More and more. Apparently everyone's a damn clone in celebrity stuff. Instead of selling your soul to the devil, you're selling your soul to the clone agencies.
Mm-hmm.
Where they kill your ass and your clone gets famous, or you get to do it until you decide not to make a second movie, and then they kill you and put a clone in there. It's crazy. Good old Hillary admitted it back then when she was running against Trump. That was crazy. I saw that today for the first time. I'm like, whoa.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she's talking about how she's not human. She was built as a robot. This is her spilling her robot guts out to the people, and she didn't want no one to talk about it. But she's like, it's like a joke, but it's not a joke. And she's going into details that are
because really they have to tell the truth or whatever.
Yeah, it's something weird. It's weird. All these people, I guess, tons of celebrities. One would be to look at would be B.O.B. in his old messages, probably new ones too, but all of them, tons of people are coming out. I've came out celebrities and have literally said, yeah, I'm a clone, or I have clones. I'm cloned. And I guess Michael Jackson was part of Clone Aid. He was one of the big people. It used to be on their website, and then it got taken down.
Well, I mean, yeah, look at his before self and look at him when he died. I mean, he did have that surgery, or not that surgery. He did have that disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I mean, look at him. They said that he was like on, or that he did like plastic surgeries, but I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, I saw a documentary today about this guy that was cloned and used for all sorts of stuff. And I'm not gonna get into like the horrible stuff they do. It's pretty much like a torture chamber. He's describing it as like a hockey rink and like hundreds of these elite people around it, and then it's like dirt where the ice should be, and then take kids out there and use dogs for and also all sorts of stuff. It's like a torture competition. And something about how these clone people, when they go to sleep, and I noticed this with like celebrities, like for one, they don't like to sleep, a lot of them. But they like talk about how bad it is to sleep and stuff like that. Like, where do you go in your dreams or some shit like that? Well, allegedly their consciousness is uploaded to this clone facility where they go through all these tests and tortures and stuff when they go to bed. It's like an uplink kind of thing. And that we got the technology from aliens however long ago, 100 years ago or whatever. Something like that. And then this guy was talking about how he's wrote all these songs, and it kept him from when he was like 5 years old being like brutally tortured and other horrible things to him. But he'd write these songs or come up with these songs and sing it, and it like has a list of all the people. Like allegedly this guy made the name Nirvana and wrote not all their songs, but Smells Like Teen Spirit, helped Eminem get big, like all of Britney Spears songs. That one song that it's like Someone That I Used to Know is one, and he said that the beginning of it you hear an instrument and it's Ba Ba Black Sheep. And I went and listened to that today, and I was like, wow, it really is. It's Ba Ba Black Sheep, but it's in with that instrument. And he was saying that the reason all these songs become like big hits or whatever, doesn't matter who's singing it or whatever, the reason they become big hits is because of the instrumentals, and the instrumentals are based on songs that you were pretty much brainwashed to as a child. So if you start breaking into the music of these songs, the way the melodies and stuff of them are children's music. And that's why millions of people will be like, I love that song. I love that song. Well, you break it down, the song's like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or something like that. It's like, it's because you've all heard it your whole life, especially as a child. So it's like programmed into you. Crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I went and, if you go and listen to that song, that I can't remember what instrument it is, but you hear it right off the bat and you're like, whoa, that's right. Anyone could have just like came up with that, but it literally is. And then the whole beat, and it's like Someone That I Used to Know, when he sings it, it's like Have You Any Wool or whatever, like on Ba Ba Black Sheep. It's like used to know. It's like Have You Any Wool. It's fucking weird. Because you listen to it, you're like, that's exactly what this is. Oh, crazy, crazy shit, you guys.
Yeah.
I've been looking at those BitChute videos. Those are so fun. All of them. Learning all sorts of crazy stuff. And just like coincidence. It's like, why is this way, with no other explanation other than this crazy person telling you about it? And then they go into like 100 other things that they're telling you about. It's like, why is no one fighting against this guy? Is he telling the truth? But yeah, I found the name of that guy that I was talking about, the geologist that went underground and was attacked by those aliens working for the US government digging underground base tunnels. Found that guy.
Yeah.
His name is Phillip Schneider, I think. Gonna have to
Like Rob Schneider.
Yeah, but it's Phillip Schneider. And he was killed. He's the guy that like got blasted with the alien gun. His chest's all melted and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah. He's one of those. He was the guy that was going around with his friend who had just been suicided. And he's like, they're gonna say that I was suicided, or that I committed suicide, and I didn't. And then he had been like attacked with a knife, shot at, like he had been shot at a couple times, and was going around the country telling people about this and that they were going to kill him. and the they just suicided his friend, and then like literally like a couple days after his last speaking event, he was like up on a stage telling people this shit, and then his last speaking event a couple days after that, he was committed suicide. But you can look up photos of him and stuff. Where his videos are actually, I think you can find them on YouTube still. It's pretty crazy. Here is a picture of him so you guys know who to look for. Yeah, if you haven't ever seen this guy or listened to him talk, absolutely insane. This guy's like super smart, like genius level smart. He was talking about when they drilled, it turned the stuff into like a powdered dust around it, so they didn't have to like go in and put walls or concrete or anything. That it like almost like heated it into this perfect tunnel.
Yeah, that song is stuck in my head now that he's talking about. But I don't, when I'm trying to like listen to it in my head, I don't hear the Baba Black Sheep.
Remember this dude? I've seen videos about him. But
I
he's
don't see it in
gone?
the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Phillip.jpg.
All right, Phillip Schneider.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I was just saying, I remember this dude, like seeing videos of him. But he's gone?
Yeah, they killed him right after his back then they killed him right after his his last show. He was doing like hundreds of them, as much as he could, because they were coming to kill him.
Wow.
Like Men in Black kind of government people. Yeah, you listen to his last one, he tells you like, I've been stabbed, I've been shot, and it was just like in the past like month. He has like a crazy amount of attempts on his life during that time. And then they ended up getting him. And he's like, they're going to kill me. And they're going to say it's a suicide. And like after his last one, it was like a day or two, and he was suicided.
So is that a slice in his body? Like,
so I gotta find another picture. It's actually in the video, and it's hard to look on that. So that's probably from the surgery to repair him. So it shot that his whole, where his heart is, that whole piece of meat right off of him. And then there's pictures of his hands. He's like missing fingers, and it like melted his fucking hand. Like whatever it was, it literally blew his whole mid upper left side of his torso and arm, because he like put his arm out to like block or something, and it melted his hand, melted his forearm, melted his arm, ripped it, like blew his fucking chest apart. And he was one of 3 people that survived. And he said that he had actually known about the Greys. They had like debriefed him before going down there. And that like the soldiers that were with him saved his life, because it was like a drop like elevator kind of thing, a lift that they dropped down in.
Yeah.
When they went down there, he said it like stank and was horrible, but it was like what's that damn word? It's like a big dome under there. So they like dropped into like a city of aliens.
Wow.
Underneath the ground. And they looked at them, and like the soldiers, they weren't debriefed. So they're like, what the fuck? And they just start firing. And he said the alien just raised his hand and like moved it in a swiping motion. And this bright white light came out and like blew him to pieces. And when the soldiers like grabbed him, drug him, threw him on the lift and like hit the button, and it brought him up there. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
And we're assuming whoever those soldiers never made it.
No, all of them that were down there died. He said that's what started.
Wow.
He said that a war, because he starts it off saying that we've been in a war since, I don't know if it was 2000 or no, it's before that. It's like 19 something, 80s or 90s or some shit. It's a certain date. And he says it was it was a fucking skirmish war that they started with him, because they started firing at him, and the aliens like attacked back. Not saying they didn't know about him, but it was like a WTF moment, kind of,
Yeah, someone freaked out and got trigger happy.
Yeah. And then the aliens started fighting back, and yeah, he goes into crazy details about it. And this guy actually brings elements, like rocks, I guess, elements from other planets onto that thing and passes them around. But he's like, don't like try to touch him or anything. But some of them, he's like, you could look at it, but don't touch it and shit like that. And he describes what they are. And he's the guy that talks about how like our elemental table that we have is limited to reduce like our knowledge. It's like intelligence suppression, because the ones they actually have found or have received from other planets and other places like that it's crazy. And he goes into details about how like the black crafts that we have, he specifically says like the name of one, and it's powder coated in this stuff, just like the UFOs are, and it reaches like crazy ass temperatures, but it keeps the craft super cool on the inside, to the point like the stuff flies off. It's like charcoal.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy listening to those him talk. I like listen to all of them, and it was gnarly. I forgot his name, but I found it today. So yeah, we should break into that. Hear one of these next ones, because that's some good listening. I'll tell you what, it's better than the guy that talks about the Illuminati and the sex trafficking and stuff. This is Phillip Schneider's crazy. Yeah, and they suicided him right after that.
Yeah, I tried looking him up, and all I seen was pictures of some guy with a lady.
Yeah, so Phillip Schneider, how I'd found him was geologist, or Phil Schneider, geologist.
Phillip Schneider, geologist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you did not cut me off.
Yeah, so you guys hear anything else that's crazy these past couple weeks?
Oh.
Is that
What was the?
I can't pronounce that place.
Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They've been,
That's crazy.
Up in arms against their government. In videos about the citizens like apprehending the military people.
I saw that, and trying to take their tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
Good for them. It's their tanks anyway, isn't it? Don't they pay the taxes on it?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like you're not using it right. We're repoing it. You pay your bills.
A weird tidbit. I can't confirm it, but that place houses the headquarters of the Illuminati.
Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
What?
They have like a big black pyramid, and then like the top half of the pyramid has like the symbol of the eye and stuff.
Uh-huh. It's made out of gold.
Oh, it's just black. It's just dark pyramid.
I believe it.
People always say it's in Egypt.
It's all over. It's all
over.
Yeah, I saw looks like Russia's about to go in there and kick the shit out of all of them, sadly.
Yeah, comrade. They can do it.
Oh yeah, they can. Yep. Yeah, Russia's pretty pissed about that. Which, is this some weird false flag? You know what I mean? Because weren't they just about to try to invade Ukraine?
Yeah.
But then this happens.
Oh, I think the Ukraine thing was the false flag.
Gotcha.
And then this happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's something happening now. I keep on forgetting, but this Kazakhstan thing. Ooh, I said it right. Wasn't supposed to be in the media. Like, it's not supposed to be frontline news.
Oh, that makes sense, because it's been so covered up. You know what they call that pyramid? Pyramid of peace and harmony.
Oh, you found it?
Yep. And yeah, it's blue at the bottom of the tip of the pyramid, and then at the top is yellow like gold.
Oh, yeah. The picture I seen, I thought it was black.
It is.
It's like
this is in like the
blue.
sunset.
Oh.
It looks like it's lit up. It's like when the sun's going down and they turn the lights on. That's what it looks like to me. But yeah, it's It's a goldish yellow on the very tip of it, which is just crazy. Where are you?
R.I.P. Pete Davidson, man. So he's with the Kardashian.
He's been with her for a minute. Yeah, all you got to do is wear a dress, and then you can date a Kardashian.
And then get yourself even high up there.
Yeah, who knows what's all
Working
going
your
on
way
there.
up.
This is weird. I do want to point something out too that I saw today, because people talk about the clones and stuff, and that comedian, what's his name?
Joe Rogan?
No, black comedian.
Chris Rock.
No. Like
Dave
the
Chappelle.
god
Kevin
of
Hart.
comedy. Yeah, Dave Chappelle. So go watch Half Baked and tell me that's the same guy.
Yeah, that's him.
No, I mean, but like, is it though?
Yeah, didn't he get cloned in Africa?
Something like that, where he did leave and then he came back and he was like completely different.
Well, that's
But-
when he went to Africa, right?
Something like that. The story of it, like his
But
cousin
yeah.
or whatever says he's a clone. But looking at like Dave Chappelle and Half Baked and thinking like, or even the Chappelle Show. Yeah, I mean, like different energy, different, like they look different. They really do. You know what I mean?
Well, Half Baked was like before he ever did like hard comedy. Like he was doing like here and there comedy shows. Like he's trying to find his startup kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like I guess that Half Baked was like his opportunity to get into the industry kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But he wasn't really he wasn't known for his comedy or comedic side yet.
Mm-hmm. It just kind of seems like a different person. Like I didn't realize that was Dave Chappelle until I saw that today. I'm like, because when I think of it, it's almost like I think of two people. You know what I mean? And it's like Will Smith too. Like Will Smith looked the exact same his whole entire fucking life. Go look at Will Smith now.
Not Dave Chappelle.
Go look at Will Smith.
Yeah, that looks completely different.
Will Smith 2021. And tell me that's like the same fucking dude. It's wild, dude. And I know people get older and shit, of course, but they keep certain parts of their faces. And this is like a different dude, which is crazy because in that movie that Will Smith made a couple years ago, where he's like fighting himself, which is like a clone or whatever.
Yeah.
If you go listen to him talk about it, he's like, when I first saw him, it was crazy. It was like, whoa, he's like, this is a first like I don't know if he said digital was the word, but it was the words he used. It was like first digital person on the screen, like first something, the word he was digitally made or some shit, and it had to do with cloning. Like the words he used was how they would make it, and it's like that's how they make clones, is by it's like a digital reproduction of just a couple cells of you. Something. The words he used was crazy.
Send, pictures in chat?
So where it says to everyone, there's that little paper thing. You click that. Yeah, Will Smith. All his photos look different, dude. It looks like they have multiple clones. What's the short black comedian? What's his name? Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
He's on screen on one of them talking about how he has 3 clones. Because the guy's like, we see you everywhere. Like, you're literally everywhere. And he's like, I got clones. I literally got 3 clones going around.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes back to the Beatles, and like back then people were cloned, and like it's been going on forever. Absolutely crazy. All these photos of Will Smith, bro, each one looks different, dude. Every single picture of him looks different. Look like a completely different guy. Looks like someone trying to look like him. Wow. But yeah, Kazakhstan, man. What do you think is going to happen with that? You think Russia's just going to go down there and kick the shit out of them all? Or do you think this might be some sort of attack on Russia by China or US stirring up the shit pot for those people? because Biden did open up the Russian pipeline, then he shut down the other ones. Is this some sort of game plan? Because these people are rioting over gas prices.
Which they shouldn't, because
You'd think.
it's available. It's just getting the supplies to the locations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of the supply chain, right?
Mm-hmm. And it is a
yeah,
third world country, right? Kazakhstan is like,
yeah.
Kazakhstan.
it is. So, I mean, like $5 in gas for us is like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe $5 in gas to them is so detrimental they can't even go to work. And if you think like all of a sudden, if like tomorrow gas was so expensive because it was so unavailable, none of us could go to work to make money to even try to afford those prices, which we couldn't because there wasn't any there because it's so fucking expensive. Like, what would happen?
So the thing with Kazakhstan is it's not the first country that experienced this whole crisis with their money and everything just inflated.
Uh-huh.
Can you guys know? Can you guys tell me which country experienced this first?
With the loss of gas,
Well, not the gas,
Afghanistan.
but like
the gas
like
prices.
no, like the like prices just soaring, and then the value of their money um is being able to pay, like the value of their money is degraded to a point where they have to pay more for something simple like a loaf of bread.
Mm-hmm. Which country or continent?
Oh, country?
Britain,
No,
Mexico.
not yet. No,
Mexico, Afghanistan,
no,
Germany,
no. Maybe
Poland.
soon.
China.
No. Oh no, China's like up there.
Are they doing
They're-
good?
Yeah.
North
Well,
Korea.
yes and no. They're screwed with the whole Evergrande thing.
It's gonna be a European country then.
No,
No.
Is it North Korea?
no. That they've been in the same shithole for a long time.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
a non self-sustaining shithole forever.
Please give up.
Yes.
I was gonna say Africa, but that's a big place.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
whole. That's why I was like,
That's
continent.
not a country. That's a continent.
So it's Venezuela.
Oh,
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Like their people just abandoned the Venezuelan dollar because everything got so inflated to a point where they had to bring like a barrel cart of Venezuelan money just to buy goods.
yeah,
Just basic goods.
and that's been like that for years, ever since the revolution or whatever.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Communist resolution.
they abandoned their government's dollar or the country's money, and they've resorted to like gold, silver, like actual things that can be considered currency.
Mm-hmm.
They also turn to cryptocurrency, but not everyone is in that digital space, right? So
For real.
they've gone to the go-to is the gold and silver. So I could see Kazakhstan going the same route. I'm sure Russia's going to come in, but Russia's more there to defend their neighboring country from NATO invading them. Because if NATO is able to get into Kazakhstan, then NATO can set up like a military presence on Russia's border, and Russia's not gonna like that.
So that's got to be affecting all of South America. That's why we probably see the rise of all those people coming up here.
Oh wait, Kazakhstan or wait?
Venezuela. Sorry.
Oh no, I was talking about Well, yes. If you're talking about it that way, yeah. But it's been like a year or more that they've been in that situation and they've been making it work with gold and silver.
There's
So,
shit tons of that down there
yeah,
in
Yeah.
South America.
but I'm not sure if Venezuela was the very, very first or like the test, and then Kazakhstan is the next one. Like I'm not sure if this is like a domino effects that is gonna sweep the world kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because I feel there's gonna be another lockdown. Like what is the next? What is that new variant?
Which
Delta?
one? Which one?
Del-
Well, we got
Deltacron.
Omicron. We got Deltacron, and we got the flu Delta flu, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
We also have the cold,
Yeah.
HIV.
That doesn't exist. How dare you? How dare you think
Yeah,
anything
well,
else
neither is
exists?
the. Never mind. What's going on?
Yeah. So
Never
it's
mind.
just a matter of time for the crazies to lock us down again because of X reason. Like, oh, the hospitals are being filled by
People making
by the flu.
TikToks.
Yeah, TikTok people.
But no, but
I don't want to
the
say it.
making TikToks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah. But
something.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the
by the-
first
by the
world lives in
sniffles.
a fucking fairy tale land. The third world starves to death. It's like Cuba's in a shit show right now too.
Yep.
Yeah, so personally, I don't know which one will happen first. Our money going to crap, or going to get us getting into another lockdown, or it could be both at the same time.
Right.
It could
Or
be.
the inflation finally hits because that dollar bubble's been popped forever.
Yeah. Like, goods are going to be like gas. Gas is going to be $125 a gallon for regular gasoline. Oh no, let's lock people down so they don't see it.
I should go buy a bunch of fucking gas. It's
just
$125
start
a
making our
gallon.
own.
Well, I guess $125 a gallon won't matter even if people pay it because the fucking dollar won't. That gallon won't buy you a loaf of bread.
The value won't be there because if gas is that much, how much is bread? Like $200 a loaf? How much would milk be? Like $80 a gallon?
Milk,
Yeah, I'm sure our tax money's
like
going to
$3.50. It's like as gas. Milk would be as
Yeah.
much as gas for a gallon.
Yeah, so $100 a gallon for milk.
Which
I'm sure.
that's questionable though, because I mean it wouldn't be later after it affected the companies and everything, but what are you gonna do with all the cows? You know what I mean? Like, would you just buy a cow like for cheaper than milk?
Well, depends. Like, will inflation hit the cows too? Like, how much does a cow cost now?
Right.
Or even buying a calf
Right.
and then
That's
growing it into
true.
a cow.
But you can only have so many cows fucking and making babies with how much room you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
How much is property going to cost?
but see, supposedly this winter is gonna be like one of those bad winters, like even more worse than last year. So, what if some cows die off and then shoots the price up more? No.
Yeah. Just heat. I don't know. It's crazy. Like, we just had snow for 2 weeks, and down here it all finally melted. I mean, at one point we had like almost 2 feet down here.
Yeah,
Wow.
we had almost 4 feet.
Yeah, you're up on the mountain. Crazy. Yeah, it's all
Yeah, I
melting
know,
here. Like, sidewalks
same
are
here.
clear and everything now. For 2 weeks, it was a shit show.
And yeah, I'm sure our tax dollars are going to our new summer camps.
Yeah, probably.
Mhm.
Oh, most certainly, especially in Washington, man. Like we've been watching it for months. You'll just see a bunch of military copters, the birds, whatever they're called. The like the National Guard has them, the big ones for transporting people.
Yeah.
Blackhawks?
I don't know. It's the big long ones that look like a tube.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
we
one
have
with
them
the
over here
two
too.
I can't
super
remember.
pillars on the top.
Yeah, those ones.
Oh.
Those and other ones have been flying like together, doing like practice runs of moving people to summer camp in Washington State. Or at least that's what we're thinking is going the fuck on, because they don't do that. And those aren't like fighting, those aren't like attack helicopters. I mean, it's for moving people, but what are they doing? You know what I mean? What are they doing? And then, yeah, I've never seen so many chemtrails, these like ever. It's not that I like haven't looked, but if you look like the amount of shit in the air on the average day in the past, 2 years now, 2 full years now, it's crazy. And crazy shit happening. I think they're trying to flood us right now. I'm not even gonna lie. This is like 2 years ago. We got flooded, or 2.5 years ago, we got flooded like a motherfucker. Like for 2 days, that was my full-time job. They just paid me to fill sandbags and then deliver them out to these little towns and I'm like, the whole town's flooded. It's fucking crazy what water can do.
Oh yeah, that happened to us a couple years ago too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's.
I know people that lost their homes.
That's what it seems like. Is I don't. It was weird. I've been saying it for a long time. Like the depression shit seems like, all week during the week when everyone's like working or hiding in their homes, it's all sunny and nice and shit, and then on the weekends it's all rainy and dark and cold. And it's been that way for 2 years, and I'm like, literally, like, watch. I bet it's shitty, it'll do it. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's the weekends got to do with the fucking temperature? Not a damn thing. So what's going on here? And it was like part of the whole COVID thing where it's like, be depressed, be oppressed, be suppressed. Fuck it, guys. That was a good one. We hit some shit. Let's fucking do it again. Yeah. 2 weeks is way too long to not go, but it was the holidays and stuff. So,
oh yeah,
we're gonna get Jaren's ass in here, and when Brandon's back, get him too.